Yo, what's up, Chaos TV fans? What's up, Chaos TV? No, it's your Chaos TV, Chaos Hero. Here again, back to the map where we chilling at. Sorry about that, but we chilling at the map. And today, people, we are going to be taking a look at the deck profile for Nephty's. Now, Nephty's basically came out in a structure deck set formerly known as Hidden Summoners. Now, Hidden Summoners came out with a good few structure decks setups such as Mayakashi's, as well as Nephty's, as well as Prey Kids, which Prey Mark 9 is building, and I should be talking to him about the deck profile of his deck and his build. But today I'm going to show you how to build a pure Nephty's deck. Now, is Nephty's good pure? And is it worth building? No, it is not. On average, you'll be spending, I guess, close to $75 or $78, but at the same time, it's not worth it. You can go into your 50-cent bin and find half of these cards easily for like 30 to 20 bucks. Hands down. And the stuff that I got in the deck are just generic staples that basically help the deck out so much to where it doesn't suck poorly and doesn't suck completely. But this is going to be the deck profile on Nephty's. Now let's take this out the deck box and show you how fun this deck is. Now before we get into this, I already know how to build this competitively. I already experienced this deck competitively. And unfortunately, like I said, this is not the channel where you can learn that. If you are into competitive builds and if you are into competitive scene, there are plenty of YouTubers on this wonderful worldwide station we call YouTube that can tell you that completely. But if you are here just to play for fun and you're interested in the archetype and what it can do, that is what I believe in. I believe you should experience the archetype for itself before you just, add and outsource. And I only play for fun, so yeah. But let's get into the deck profile, shall we? So right off the bat, you already can tell that the Nephty archetype is actually split into two types of cards. Wind attributed based spellcasters, which are all level 2s, and the rest are basically, which is a minimum amount, is level 8 or 10 ritual and normal monsters and link monsters that are winged beast and their fire. Mostly the main monster, which is Nephty, is basically the big boss monster, which is Winged Beast and Fire. So and as you can see, there's not much going on with the extra deck, but let's get into the main deck show. Now, I'll let you know this deck is all about your opponent destroying your cards by card effects, so don't expect anything good about them, getting destroyed by battle. Now, if your opponent mirror forces it, regular mirror forces it, you may be in luck, but if not, then unfortunately, you might, and this is the format where people are using, other mirror forces like, quaking, storming, and drowning, so unfortunately, yeah, you can't do anything. So let's get on to the main deck monsters, please. Three copies of Chronicler. Basically, Chronicler is basically the way to get stuff out of the graveyard. When it's destroyed, it basically allows you to add one card from a graveyard. I think special summon one Nephty's card from the graveyard. Hold on. Alright, let's read this card's effect. So you need 3 of her. Alright. Chronicler of Nephty. You can target one Nephty monster card in your graveyard, except Chronicler of Nephty. Destroy one card in your hand, and if you do, add that target to your hand during your next standby phase, which is kind of the downside about this deck, because it's one of the main things that makes it slow. During your standby phase, after this card was destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can add one Nephty card from your graveyard to your hand, except Chronicler of Nephty. You can only activate the effect of Chronicler of Nephty once per turn. Basically, it just helps you add stuff from the hand to the grave, and it's okay. It's an okay effect if it wasn't so slow. Then we need 3 Matriarchs of Nephty. Basically, this is Matriarchs of Nephty right here. Matriarch of Nephty. You can target one level 4 or lower Nephty monster in your graveyard, except Matriarch of Nephty. Destroy one card in your hand, and if you do, special summon that target monster in defense position, but negate its effects during the end phase after this card was destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard. You can special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only activate the effect of Matriarch of Nephty once per turn. Basically, that's a good way to basically special summon out the graveyard. Also, you can basically special summon out the graveyard. That's basically what it is. So basically is Matriarch special summons out the graveyard. Chronicler basically adds from the graveyard to the hand. So that's what it does. Alright. Then 3 copies of Defender of Nephthys. Defender of Nephthys, this is what it looks like. Check out the card art. Alright, now let's read off of its effects, ladies and gentlemen. Defender of Nephthys. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 card in your hand, and if you do, special summon 1 level 4 or lower Nephthys monster from your hand, except Defender of Nephthys. During your standby phase, after this card was destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can destroy 1 Nephthys card, 1 Nephthys monster in your deck, except Defender of Nephthys. So basically, it just force taps a card in your graveyard in your deck. Basically, if you want to hit Phoenix of Nephthys, you can basically pop Phoenix of Nephthys in your deck, throw it in the graveyard. That way, you can special summon Phoenix of Nephthys and pop the back row. Then, last but not least, that's not technically last. Disciple of Nephthys, which is one of the main staples of what you need in the deck if you want to play it pure. She's kind of cute. She's adorable, and she's a 2,000 defense monster. And honestly, there's no way to special summon her for real. So special summon her in defense is not going to happen. But here's her effect: Disciple of Nephthys during your main phase. And it's another nitpick I have with this deck. Everything implies to Phoenix of Nephthys. Everything's in the main phase. It's specifically your main phase. It's not your opponent's main phase. It's not your main phase. It's specifically yours. And that's what makes this deck so bad, and I'm so mad about that because I really love Nephthys. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 card in your hand, and if you do, add 1 Nephthys monster from your deck to your hand, except Disciple of Nephthys. During your next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Nephthys trap or spell card from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Disciple of Nephthys once per turn. So basically, this allows you to either get the ritual card, the trap card, or just the generic spell card that does automatic destruction, which is a good way to search. Last on the Disciple of Nephthys effect monsters, which are regular effect monsters, is a classic card that we all know, Hand of Nephthys. At the time, it seems useless, and it's the only way to actually... Essentially, if you don't know what this is, then y'all haven't played GX. I'll just tell you, you ain't got to read the effect. You only need 2 of her, because you don't need her half the time, because the deck searches out everything else itself and gets everything off without her. If best, you can just kind of rule her out of the deck and add something else you want to it. That would be more efficient, but I decided to add her to the deck because of flavor, and you only need 2 of her because her effect is simply this. You contribute this card along with another card, especially some of the Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, from your hand. That's if you get her and Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys from your hand or deck. So basically, it's like, yeah, I'll tribute this card, tribute that card, and then special summon Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys from my deck or hand. I mean, so it's whatever. Ritual monsters. Like I said, there are rituals in this deck. Devotee of Nephthys. You only need 2 of her. You only need 2 of the ritual monsters because you don't want to go up the deck with this. Basically, it has 2 effects. You can ritual summon this card with Ritual Rebirth of Nephthys. You can only use each of the following effects of Devotee of Nephthys once per turn. First, effect 1. Effect 1. If this card is ritual summoned, you can activate this effect. Special summon 1 Nephthys monster from your deck. Also, during the end phase of this turn, destroy this card. Now, the secondary effect: if this card is in your graveyard, you can destroy 1 Nephthys card in your hand. And if you do, special summon this card. So basically, it allows you to pop stuff in your hand to trigger other effects to get her back on the field to make more plays. So it just works out and it's fine. Also, these cards have to be properly ritually summoned to have all these effects taken off. So if you destroy this card in your hand, you cannot trigger its effect. You destroy it in the deck, you cannot trigger its effect. Then we have the boss monster, ritual monster, Searing Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. Searing Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. It's a winged beast fire attributed monster. So let's dig into it. Alright, here's its effect. Give you a good look at the card. You can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Nephthys. You can only use each effect of the following effects of Searing Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. Say that fast 3 times and see if you don't get tongue twisted. Blech. Once per turn during your main phase. Your main phase. Now let me repeat that again. Your main phase. Read your cards, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You can destroy Nephty's cards in your hand or face up on the field. Then destroy an equal number of monsters your opponent controls. Basically, this effect does not target. So that means cards that say, "Oh, you cannot target effects." No, this effect does not target at all. It does not target at all. During your next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by battle or card effect, and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. So this is the only card in the deck that literally can be destroyed by battle or effect, and can trigger off its effect, which is pretty cool. Now, for the main deck monster, for the other boss monster, we have the big man or big girl. Basically, it is a female. Big girl herself. Sacred Phoenix of Nephty. You already know her effect. If she was destroyed on your, if this card was destroyed on your, basically on your main phase, if this card was destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you special summon it to the field and basically blow up your entire opponent. Sorry guys, I'm a little tongue twisted, but destroy your opponent's entire back row. So basically, she's Harpy Feather Duster without being Harpy's Feather Duster. Then, and I lie to you not, when this card came out in Cybernetic Horizon, I did not find any use for this card, but apparently, and knowing, and now hear me out, you guys. I know what you're gonna think, Chaos. This is crazy. Why would you put this in here? Now, note that every Nephty card outside of the Ritual Boss monster, you literally cannot activate their effect if they're destroyed by battle. Right? Right. So your opponent's going to do what? Avoid every chance of literally not doing that. Either they're going to overpower it, or Cyber Dragon Infinity it, Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, whatever. They'll find ways to get rid of it. And the best way to protect that monster and to trigger off their effect from doing that is one card. Oops. 3 copies of Oops. Put this face down, your opponent will be either scared to attack you or just scared because it's sitting back there and they won't see it coming. You'll be like, okay, I use the effect. I chain Oops. Destroy it, sends it to the graveyard. You just triggered off their effect by the beginning of the turn. Now, you will be left open, so you can optionally put 2 copies of Oops and then 1 copy of Mirror Force, or just 1 copy of Oops and 2 copies of Mirror Force. It's up to you. It's completely up to you. There's ways you can take out stuff for it. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But this is the build I do. Awakening of Nephty, basically, it busts all Nephty's monsters with 300 attack, which makes it pretty good. Also, you can target it to get destroyed, and it triggers an effect where it allows you to basically, just add 1 Nephty card, or special summon a Nephty monster from your hand, deck, or grave without effects or its summoning cost, which makes it so freaking busted. So basically, it's called the Haunted, or special summon for them, I guess. 1 copy of Dark Hole, just in case if Oops doesn't work, you can just suicide your whole entire board. And yes, I repeat, yes, literally, this is searchable by pre-prep. So you can get 2 copies of pre-prep and make the magic happen. I know this seems a little cheesy. 2 copies of Swords of Revealing Light. You will need it in the build that I've been teaching you how to do. 3 copies of Mirror Force, just in case of that pesky back row. Until you get Sacred Phoenix and Nephty, that is. 3 of the Ritual spell card, because, like I said, pre-prep is searchable with this. And Last Hope of Nephty, which is a generic destruction card, along with Oops. And that's it for the main deck. Let's get on to the extra deck, shall we? Please, because this is taking way too long to explain. Because I love this deck so much. So it's going to take a little bit longer than normal. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. This card is a piece of garbage, but it actually sets up a lot for you. So 3 copies of basically Nephty, a Sacred Preserver. Basically, it's a link to. You can get off some stuff. It's not that good, and honestly, it would slow you down if you did. So it's kind of a waste of time to me. You can run 1 or 2, but if you want to round off the collection with the deck, just get 3. It's up to you. But the main coup de grace, this freaking card, Nephty the Sacred Flame. Dude, I've played this card before, and I've set on the field immortal like a god. This thing cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect, and cannot be destroyed by card effect. The only thing you can do is probably banish it, and it can't be targeted either. So you can't target no Nephty monsters at all. You sit up on the field immortal, plus it busts itself by 12 stacks. Like, dude, 12 on top of 12. And all you have to do is literally link summon using 3 ritual Nephty monsters. Literally, it has to have Nephty in the name. 3 ritual Nephty monsters to get all 3 of the effects. And you're basically sitting at, like, okay, it's 24 already. So, basically, you're sitting at 24... You're sitting at 3,800, I believe. No, you're sitting at 4,800. You're sitting at 4,800. Then on top of that, plus coupled with the fact of Awakening of Nephty, the trap card. Oh my god, 4,800 going to like 5,000. Oh my god, and then on top of that, you're sitting up there immortal. You cannot be destroyed by battle or card of what? And you can't be targeted. Nephty monsters can't be targeted with your effects. This thing is like a god. If your opponent lets you get that off. This is for like for fun build if you're playing around with your friends or you're playing with a little sibling or a little nephew or something like that. This is the perfect deck to play with. It gives them a challenge. But at the same time, it's not strong, it's not good. Is it worth building? Maybe. It depends. It's a kind of love or hate thing, and it's an acquired taste, if you ask me. Would I waste time doing it competitively? There's plenty of ways you can do it competitively that doesn't have to do with this build. But at the same time, this is a good deck. It's a very fun build, and I kind of like it. And I've been waiting for Nephties to get their own deck, and I mean, I can't, bite a gift horse in the mouth. We got a deck. Just because it's not working the way that people planned it doesn't mean it's not good. It's okay, but it's not great. But other than that, this is my deck profile on Sacred Phoenix of Nephty. I hope you guys enjoy it because I sure did building this deck. I actually had fun with it. My first few times doing the episodes of Top Down Throwdown were fun with it, and I kind of enjoyed it. But other than that, this is your boy Chaos Hero, and I'm going to jump out the chaos to show you what's awesome.